مجموعة الصور والفيديوهات لجيما تشان هي خلال تواجدها بباريس على هامش مشاركتها بباريس فاشن ويك، حيث شاركت كموديل ضمن عرض لوريال تحت عنوان لوديفيل، إلى جانب حضورها أيضا عرض مجموعة لوي فيتون. وجيما اللي تتحضر لعدد من الأعمال السينمائية للفترة المقبلة مثل The Marvels، True Love وكوكو، تحصد حاليا أصداء إيجابية على أدائها ضمن فيلم Don't Worry Darling اللي من بطولة وإخراج أوليفيا وايلد.
Don't Worry Darling is about an incredibly courageous heroine who decides that inauthenticity is unsurvivable.
It's a terrifying look at something seemingly very normal.
I think it's entertaining, suspenseful, and there are messages and themes running through it which I don't want to bang on too much about, but hopefully people will be entertained and go away thinking about things, and hopefully it will spark conversation.
فمن النظرة الأولى على تريلر الفيلم يظهر عامل الغموض اللي تعمدت أوليفيا وايلد التركيز عليه لتروي أحداث القصة بالتعاون مع كاتبة النص كيتي سيلفرمان.
Katie and I found a spec script written by Shane and Carrie Van Dyke that we thought was a really compelling jumping off point. And we took a kind of core concept from that story, and we kind of put it through our lens as filmmakers, as women, and we came up with something together that really felt like it was something very timely, something we wanted to say at this point in history, but at the same time felt like something that would remain kind of timeless.
ولذلك قام بابتكار ما قد يظهر بأنه العالم المثالي، وهي مدينة تحمل اسم Victory.
Victory is a metaphor for the inauthentic world of quote-unquote perfection that is ultimately unsuccessful because anything that is not organic fights against human nature and won't succeed.
ومن هالمكان تبتدي الحكاية اللي جذبت كريس باين للمشاركة.
Victory represents perfect simulacrum of mid-century America. When I first read the script that Olivia sent me, Don't Worry Darling, I loved it. I was intrigued by it. I think just like all the characters in it are intrigued by Victory. There's something on the surface that's very charming and pleasant and fun and vibrant. And I love that beneath this glistening visage, there's something darker and murkier.
وهالصورة هي انعكاس لشخصية فرانك نفسها اللي قدمها كريس.
Frank's goals as a leader of Victory is essentially to, I think ultimately, is to maintain order and to maintain a certain delineated level of secrecy by which the men know what's going on and the women do not. He's very charming, he's very convincing, he's very winning, and like many sociopaths, he uses those as weapons to entrance people into his community.
Frank is a kind of combination of a religious leader, a cult leader, a politician. He's based on several different people. He's based on Jordan Peterson, Tony Robbins, Keith Raniere. He has an incredible power to influence large groups of people by making them feel very individually heard. He is a character who is the kind of architect of this community.
وعشان يقدر يحكم قبضته على هذا المجتمع المثالي، فرانك بتكون إلى جواره زوجته شيلي اللي بتلعب دورها جيما تشان.
Shelley is Frank's right-hand woman, his partner in life, and she is loyal and supportive, very powerful in her own right. I've always been very fascinated by women in their role that they play within patriarchal systems and the power they can have and the way they wield that power within those systems. So, yeah, I looked to history for inspiration. Yeah, I spoke to Chris about the dynamic between this couple, which is interesting, quite formidable as a duo.
We needed someone almost Cleopatra-like. I wanted her to be very regal, but very enigmatic, to have grace and poise, but at the same time to be just complex enough so that you question, her alliance. And it's very hard to find an actor who can play subtext in such a still way. I think Gemma Chan has this incredibly rare ability to be terrifying without moving, and she can be incredibly communicative without dialogue.
ولذلك جيما كانت الخيار المناسب لهالدور، فقدرت برفقة كريس انهم يخلقون توازن قوي وهو انعكاس للمودة اللي جمعتهم خلف الكواليس.
I love Gemma. She's, superbly intelligent, just a gorgeous woman inside and out.
Chris and I have worked together before. We shot a movie quite a few years ago, so it was lovely to work with him again and to see him be so brilliant in this role and be so magnetic. And even as he was, doing these speeches, and I could sort of feel myself getting, carried away. And yeah, he actually sounded really convincing. Pretty terrifying, actually.
وحديثنا عن كواليس Don't Worry Darling ما انتهى، فبحلقتنا بكرة بتتابعون الكلام اللي قالته أوليفيا وايلد عن زميلتها في العمل الممثلة فلورنس بيوغ، واللي انتشرت أخبار عديدة حول خلافات بينهم.